Let's see if I have buttons set up correctly to take internal links, which I believe I do. I guess I can go to our pages and then go to our homepage to look. If we go to our hero, we can do internal and then do contact. And so here's where it's going to be our test. So we've got our primary CTA, which is going to be telling people to contact us. Scroll up to the top, refresh. We got our primary CTA and it's set to contact. Let's make sure. Perfect. Okay, so, but it's opening up in a new tab. So we need to fix that as well. So unless I already have it. Yes, I have it set to open in a new tab. So I don't need to fix that. Maybe. Perfect. All right, so now we can fix the types in our buttons because it seems like the relationship field is working, but here we can see we have an error, at least in our primary button. Surprised we don't have one in our secondary button, but likely because things have changed. All right, so here I think is where it's another type issue. So we got our button. We can go to our button config. All right, so we've got our buttons. Interface name is button. That's a terrible interface name. Am I using that yet? Does not seem like I am. Let's make sure in our cards would have it, if anything. Cards, component, index. We are using it. Okay, so we've got our button, which is coming through as an array. So obviously, don't have an array here. So what we need to do is just what we did before. So we've got our button, and as we can see, this button is an array. We got a single button here. So we're going to do type props is equal to button. First, we need our class name, which will be a string. But button is actually going to be a non-nullable. We're going to do button, and then we're going to do number. And so now we should be able to set all of this junk to just be props. And then we'll deconstruct our const, if I could do this right. Or sorry, deconstruct our, I don't know if it's destructure or deconstruct. It doesn't really matter, it's the same thing. So we'll do props, and then we should just need link type, open a new tab, class name, title, which will be for our label right there. Perfect. So now internal link, let's get all of this right so it's easier to read, and then internal link is right. Okay. All right, so that's right too. So I just need type of internal link does not equal a string. I know that's spelled wrong. I'll come back to it. String. So it can't equal string. So why then can slug? Slug does not exist on type string. Okay, so property slug does not exist on type string, industry, page, or post. But, oh, keep doing this. It's not internal link. It's internal link dot value. All right, so all of our errors are gone there, and that shouldn't have impacted this at all. Did not. All right, so then for our secondary CTA, which is an internal link, we'll come to our secondary button, and we're going to return this. We will just, well, so this needs to change here. Make sure we're good. This will go away because this will all go away. Okay, so then I'm going to just take all of this stuff. And actually, so I shouldn't need a secondary button anymore. So what I'll do is just do a primary button because I have the types all figured out correctly. So I can just do is primary. And then we can do is primary. If not, classes dot secondary button, and then it looks like I, for some reason, may have moved the styling for the buttons into two different files. There we go. All right, so our secondary button, I just need to take you, put you into primary button, and we can change the title of this to make life easier. So let's go ahead and delete this file. You can actually delete this folder. If I come here, we should have primary or secondary button. So this is going to be CTA button is more appropriate, which we'll do refactor, rename to CTA button, and then we'll show usages here and change those first. So we'll import this CTA button, and we don't need secondary button. So we should just be returning our CTA button here. Get rid of all of that. And we'll leave that open because we're going to need to fix that. And then here we're going to also have CTA button, get rid of secondary button, and we're only going to return CTA button instead, and get rid of all of that. Then just make sure that we come into our CTA button and change this to CTA button. So there we go. So we got our contact, and that does nothing. That should open in a new tab. No, it wouldn't have. But now I've got test buttons that are now undefined for some reason. Likely because if I go to our page and then go to content, anywhere with a button, external, save and see what happens. So our test buttons shouldn't have been messed up too much, especially since it worked well with this secondary CTA. So let's take a look here. We'll start content no media. There's no button included. And here we have content with media test button. So the first one, it's right here. So let's switch it to internal and see what happens. Refresh, nothing happens. All right, this is why you shouldn't mess with things that are working, because then you break it and you don't know why it's broken. So we've got our button. All right, so let's bring in our CTA button and then just log our props. We have our primary CTA, which is right. So there should be one that says small business, but I don't see it. So let's go back to button then. All right, so let's see what's happening here then. So we log props. I think I may be abstracting the button too much. So let's take a look here. We import button and button container. So should this just be CTA button? And that would be down here, I thought. All right, well, let's try a different button then. All right, so this is our cards. That'll be a good place to check things because there are so many. So here we go. So we'll change. I believe we have buttons somewhere in here. Button. Okay, close enough. All right, so we got button container. Whoops. All right, so we've got our cards. Let's do log. I have card dot. So all of these buttons are undefined right now, but for some reason these are not. So let's take a look at our hero right here. So our hero is taking the CTA button. Yep, that's correct. So then if I come here to our cards component, then we got our button, and there's only this and then the CTA button. So if I come to the CTA button, well, first come back to cards. And so this needs to be a map. No, it doesn't. So this should be a primary button if this was all working right. So let's go to our content with media, the very first one. So we've got content no, content with. And so we come down here to our test button, which is an internal link that opens a new tab and says is primary. Since it's primary, it should be showing me a primary class name. So let's restart our server. It's possible, no, it says secondary. So there's something going on in the CTA button itself because it's getting link type, but in some places it's not getting link type. So let's just go in just in case, and we'll set all of them to a different assignment here. Okay, there we go. Just set it to whatever I can find. Oh, the card button though is different. Well, why'd I do that? So what we'll want to do also first, let's just get through this. So none of those are including a button. Should be the same thing here. It's primary. This is a button. Okay, so internal. All right, so a lot of stuff going on here. All right, so we'll do internal again, and we'll just get as much in here as we can. This should not have a button, and neither should this. This is our FAQ block, which also shouldn't have a button. This is pain points, which does have CTA buttons. I need to search CTA buttons. All right, so CTA buttons, internal. We can do about. And then this should be the last one. Okay, so one of the problems that I need to fix, first we'll come here, we'll check everything again. So it doesn't work for that, and it's not going, well, why doesn't it work for, well, I know, so it doesn't work for cards because the card buttons are different for, I don't know why I did it that way. So let's go to our blocks and fix that. So these are our blocks here, and then we can go to our cards, go to the config, and then go to card section, card array, button type group. So I don't think I need the include button, but here, let's see, let's just add, should actually just be, say, buttons. And so when I do that, if I go to my card section, okay. So now we have content with media, which I wonder, so I might have my depth not set high enough. So it's fine for hero though, so I'm not sure. So it's not going to be in content ID, content no media. So that's not what I'm looking for. Content with media. We then don't need the header section, don't need the image, don't need the content. We need the buttons, which look fine. Okay, so it's not that, as long as the depth is 1. So let's go over to our home page. Should be here. Yes, indeed. Oh, so we come here, depth is 1. So that shouldn't be a big issue. Now I'm seeing all the stuff now, so that's helpful. All right, so where was I? So in our cards, since for whatever reason I decided to include a different type of button, which honestly shouldn't matter, but here we are. All right, so we've got our card section. So we'll add a button and just do real estate, because why not? And then get rid of this. Do the same thing here and just do card button, and then I'll do is primary for this one. And don't include buttons there. All right, so we may have some additional things to change and to fix, but first we can go to our cards, and I think we should just be able to comment this out, comment that out. Got our card button, which this is not what the button's title is. Oh, well, I understand. Okay. Oh, boy. Card button buttons defined undefined. And so if I come into here, okay, so so what's happening is the buttons are coming in as an array. So them as an array means that what's coming in is undefined. So we need to map through it. I assume I have something for that. So components hero, we got our button container. So I just need to do buttons.map. So this should work also here. If we do card.buttons.map, refresh that. Where'd my buttons go? Card button, real estate. Perfect. So that's working. So let's do link type. We can do this link. Otherwise, so this is saying if the link type is external, just return the link. Otherwise, we need to then check the relation. So we need to check internal link dot value, or I guess dot relation to, does not equal pages. If it does not equal pages, then we need this to be wrapped up here, and we should be able to do internal link dot relation to. Otherwise, it can just do that. All right, so now if I refresh, industries, small business, just like I wanted, industries, real estate, none of these are blogs, and we're still getting undefined there, but that's an easy fix because we know what's wrong now. So we come to the CTAs, we've got buttons.map, should be able to do CTA button. I wonder if I don't even have CTA in here anymore. Oh, I do. All right, I'll figure out why those aren't showing up in a minute, but we can finish all of these other things that we need. So in our media, or content with media, what is it called? Cards, client logos, content, no media doesn't have buttons. I think this might have buttons. Do you have buttons? You have buttons. So we can go into here, change this to be CTA button, content with media. Then we come in here and do CTA button. You guessed right. That's exactly what we're going to do. And then this one is also CTA button. Content with video, do the same thing. If there's even a button, doesn't appear that there is a button. FAQ block doesn't have one. Feed shouldn't have one. Forum doesn't have one. Pain points, sponsored block, steps with icon, summary, table of contents. None of those should have buttons. But now I look here, hopefully. Industry, small business. So all of those should be fixed. So again, in the CTA button here. So otherwise, then I need to check internal link dot value dot slug. Let's see if I can get this to be not like this. We'll refactor in just a second. So if all of that equals home, then otherwise do that. All right. So now I don't want to have to type this again, but it'll probably be easier than refactoring. So we'll do that for now. Perfect. So the home button should change into our normal link to the home instead of there you go. Yeah, instead of like the /home. So that's perfect. Exactly what I wanted.